And welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on this excursion down the stream of consciousness through the river of tranquility and on towards the lake of love.
Oh, yeah.
One of these days I'm going to get that out smooth. All right, so it's been an interesting couple of weeks. We were on vacation, but before we go and talk about that, we'll kind of cover about what we're going to cover tonight. Simone Biles, I believe is how you pronounce her name, she withdrew from a bunch of competitions from the Olympics. I think as we come on air, she only has one left. I think it's the balance beam that she may compete on, and I doubt she will. My guess is she'll pull out. But, I could be wrong. Who knows? But she pulled out for her mental health, and I'm not going to discuss her decision so much. It's more about the reaction to her decision that I think we'll talk about, because it's none of her decisions are her decisions, and you get no judgment from us. But we'll talk about some of the reactions to it, and we've got some other issues about sharing your stories on mental health and how that can make you feel
isolated.
It can be counterintuitive.
Yes.
Yeah, and how loneliness can feel like too much. And then we have our standard questions for the second half. And then we've always got something in our pocket if we need it.
Yeah.
So how was your 2 weeks vacation then, my love?
It was very relaxing. I love being among the trees. Good family time. I got to read a lot. I slept very well. I got my appetite. I love food in the outdoors. Why does that always taste better?
I don't know.
It always does.
I think it's just you're in a different frame of mind, so you're more inclined to enjoy food. You're prepped to enjoy food.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't taste better. It's just.
It's the mountain air.
It's the mountain air, and you're with your friends and your families, and it's been a relaxing day. It's a whole different feel than after you spent just another day of drudgery and making dinner. There's a different feel there. So I think that's part of it. I don't think it actually necessarily tastes better. Now the fact that my mother did a lot of the cooking or prepping the food, she's a better cook than I am.
Are you kidding? I'm so spoiled. Your mother does all the cooking.
And so we're better, it's always better when someone else does the cooking. It's just.
It tastes good, yeah.
It's just always.
Your mother's a great cook.
It's always better when someone else does the cooking. So and me, I always enjoy just kind of being out into the mountains and the trees and the mountains and, just being away from the world. Even though you're not really away from the world, it was. I don't know. We didn't have much internet there, which means we only got, I bet, 2 half podcasts out.
Yeah.
Which, of course, by the way, I found out I screwed one up. I uploaded the same one twice. That's what I get for using the app, trying to squeeze in when you can find some internet. It's not good. I'll have to fix it, maybe. Or just delete one of them and release the second one again.
Okay.
I don't know what I'll do.
But we tried to have shows. We tried to do a show, 2 shows up in beautiful South Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, but you're kind of isolated, and so you didn't have any way to do show prep, so it was kind of really off the cuff.
It was off the cuff. They were short shows.
Well, they weren't that short. It was 36 minutes.
I was on camera.
Yeah, for one.
For one.
For actually the one we uploaded. But no one will see it.
I still made the effort.
It's on my phone. It just doesn't look right.
Okay.
It just didn't look right.
Okay.
And anyway, you couldn't upload it from up there. So it took too long. There was something off about it. It wasn't you. It wasn't you. It's just... I've been doing TV things for a while, and it just didn't look right.
Oh.
The spacing was off. Something wasn't right. I have to go back and look at it again.
Okay.
But I think we violated the rule of thirds too often. I think it's
Rule of thirds.
Yes, there's rule of thirds when you make TV shows about and you can violate them on occasion or if on purpose. You think yeah. You can violate them on purpose, but if you violate them too much, it's not good. So anyway, speaking of not good, we'll go ahead and cover this Simone Biles. Have you been following her thing on the Olympics?
I just know that she's been having trouble, poor girl.
Yeah, I think she did. What was it? The one run on the vault, and she just said she didn't feel right. It wasn't physical. That's a mental thing. Her body and mind weren't in sync. And so she's essentially pulled out from everything but the balance beam. And like we discussed, everything but the balance beam. And, you know, it's not like you're a runner who, if you have an off day, you just kind of run slow. You know, this is kind of where my differences of opinion are. You're talking about someone who's a gymnastics. And if she's having an off day, she can hurt herself.
Terribly bad.
And so
terribly bad.
And so it's not a simple decision as you think about as normal people. We think about, yeah, of course we would. Of course, you know, there's many people do. If it's their one shot at the Olympics, you might actually try to take the risk. But she's been there and done that. She doesn't need to take the risk anymore. If you're an athlete from some small country, and this is your chance to go and perform at the Olympics, you probably take that risk. You can't pull out of the Olympics at that stage. You have too much personally at stake. Your country's personally at stake. But when you're an athlete for the United States, a lot of that pressure doesn't exist or shouldn't exist. You can see it. You're some small African country. They send 6 people to the Olympics, and you're one who gets to go, and you're an actual, you know, global level competitor. You know, you take an extra risk. I get that. I can even see it if you're from the United States. You got that type A personality. This is your one shot. You take the risk. You play injured. People do it all the time. But you should never be asked to. If you choose to do it, great. I mean, I saw a football game once where a guy played on a broken leg. Wide receiver played on a fractured leg. It happens more often than we'd like to think. But he chose. He could have said no. No one would have looked at him differently for saying no. So if you're an Olympic level gymnast, and you say, you know, my head's not in it, and I'm going to hurt myself if I try these things, I can't. There's no difference. I'm not going to hurt myself more than I am now. Something in my mind-body connection isn't working right. I can hurt myself more. That's all that matters to me. I don't care the actual reasons. I don't care if it's anxiety. I don't care if it's depression. I don't care if whatever. It's not my business. She's making a decision for herself. And that's all there is to it. Now there's this reaction. There's this 2 reactions to it, which both irritate me. Well, one irritates me halfway. Because it's some of the
what are people saying?
Well, there was one group of people who it's become political. Well, actually, there's 3 things that annoy me, but one of it is that it's become political needlessly.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, no, but it didn't start that way. It started as a cultural thing. You know how type A personalities are. Well, if I'd get that, and you know how couch armchair athletes are. Well, if I had done it, I'd have done it anyway. And kept on, you know, you get kind of that, which is kind of expected. And you get the type A personalities who say, "Oh, you quit on your team and blah 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 and all that." And well, gymnastics isn't really a team sport. And your team supports you. If your team is supporting you, it's none of your other business. You know, she didn't quit on her country. She was taking care of herself. We're the United States of freaking America. If you're allowed to take care of your damn self, you're allowed to tell your country to flip off. I'm taking care of myself first. It's what we freaking formed for. That's the whole freaking point of the endeavor, is that you don't owe your country or society anything. We willingly give them things, but we don't owe them anything. There's a difference. And so that's become political. And you have people like, I don't even want to say their names here on, but you know the talking heads. And then you've got the other side talking heads complaining about that side's talking heads, right? Rather than just saying, no, I'm going to not put air in this balloon. I'm just going to ignore them and let the balloon die quickly.
Right.
It's all become this big, huge thing.
Oh, my God.
Well, and then you've got the media, the normal sports media, who are the absolute worst hypocrites on the face of the freaking earth. Because they are the ones who put the pressure on these kids and athletes. They're the ones who do it. They're the ones who put the world on their shoulders. And then all of a sudden they're going to pretend that, oh, we care about your emotions and your feelings. You are such flippin' lying hypocrites. Now you get some of the culture magazines who are writing articles in support. Great, because you actually write articles in support of these kind of things all the time. I have no problems with them doing it. But it's the sports media who actually created the problems that give you mental health issues. We talked about that tennis player, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, whatever
Yes,
it was.
we did.
Who left, who said, I'm not going to participate in Wimbledon because of the media pressure.
Yes.
And then the media was patting themselves on the back for being so understanding. No, you morons, you're the problem. You're the ones putting all this pressure on them. You're the ones who told the country that these people are standing up there for you. They're representing you. You're the ones who've done all this stuff, and now you're going to go and pretend that you're on their side, that you care about their emotional health and physical health. You lying spectacle. All you care about is getting viewers, which is why viewership is way down.
Oh.
Yeah, viewership is way down. So, and then of course, then you get the politics again. Well, see, you've entered politics, and so now sports is, people aren't watching. No, people aren't watching because the whole thing's kind of become trivial because of the way you treat it.
Treat what?
Because of the way the media treats athletes and sports.
Oh.
And people are tired of it. Sports is supposed to be fun and entertaining. It's not supposed to be life or death. And the media has now, sports media, let's be clear, not all media, sports media, treats everything like life or death. Like if a referee misses a call, the world ends. Well, no, the world goes on just like it would have if the referee had made the right call. Nothing actually changes, except maybe for some guys in Vegas. And I don't care about gamblers. It's gambling for a reason. They've ruined sports by their over-analysis and their rather than just watching it for the beauty of the athletes, the beauty of the game, and just enjoying it. It's become this life or death struggle when it's not. And people are kind of tired of it. I know I am. I don't watch sports anymore. I used to love watching sports. I can't watch it anymore. Because I watch it to get off of the life or death struggle of real life, not to freaking bring it in there. That sports are supposed to be your escape, things that brings us all together, not the things that separate us. And what's happening more and more is that we're Literally, deliberately looking for ways to separate ourselves. It's like an obsession now, where we're deliberately trying to find ways to separate ourselves. Not to differentiate ourselves, to make ourselves unique individuals, but to other the other person. To make the other person the other so we don't have to care about them. And then we tell ourselves we're doing it because we care about society. And it's not, we all do it. If I took a hard enough look in the mirror, I'm sure I could find myself doing it more often than I would like. It's a natural human thing. But we're supposed to try to fight it. That's what civilization is for. But it's not for civilization. It's for you. It's for us. To you, your family, the future. You know, not being selfish is actually one of the most selfish things you can do.
How so?
Well, because if you think that you're not being selfish to make yourself feel, but not so you're not making yourself feel better, the reason you are selfless is because it makes people feel better. It makes you a better human being. You're not selfish. There's nothing wrong with being selfish. We've just discussed this with Simone Biles. She was being selfish. She was taking care of herself first. The needs of the country, the needs of her teammates are secondary to her mental and physical needs. The people who loved her teammates, her families, fully support her. Okay with her?
Yeah.
And so, it's not the being selfish. It's how and when you do it. Do you do it at the expense of other people? Or do you do it because you have to do it for yourself? Off of somebody else's plate because not because you're hungry, just because you're greedy. You know, it's one thing if someone has a full plate, yours is empty, and you haven't eaten in 3 days, and you go, "Hey, can I have that roll?" Most people would give you their food. So, "Oh, dude, I ate earlier. Here, have it." It's wrong for you to take it. Doesn't matter the reason. So it's not selfishness that's the problem. Selfishness is perfectly fine when you're taking care of yourself, for yourself, and you're not doing it at the expense of anybody. You know, teammates pick up your teammates. That's what they do. You can't be here because X reason. That's okay. We'll pick you up. We got you covered. That's the whole point. She didn't let her team down. She let her team pick her up. That's what we should be.
Focusing on.
Exactly. So anyway. So, did you get a chance to read that article on how sharing your mental health story can make you feel
Lonely?
Yeah.
Yes.
Invalidated, I guess is the word they use.
Invalidated? Yes.
So what'd you think?
I didn't get to look at that one.
Ah.
I looked at the loneliness of always feeling too much.
Well, see, my journey to being able to express myself. And whenever we read these things, I think we have to remember that where your journey starts. Their journey is always different. So nothing is universal. I think that's one of the things we need to be careful about when we read these articles.
Okay.
And that this person is expressing their journey.
Yes.
Their journey may be vastly different than yours.
Yes.
See, me expressing myself, learning how to express myself, learning how to tell my story has had the opposite effect. But I can see where they're coming from. As someone with that anxiety, I have anxiety, and so learning how to express myself has been freeing.
Yes.
But I can see if you're maybe have depression, and you have to talk about it all the time, and you can just not want to talk about it sometimes, and then so you isolate yourself, and that kind of feeds on it. I can see how it would work, and that's just trying to be empathetic. Without, I can see how the desire to speak and the desire to speak for people who are like you but can't speak for themselves becomes a burden, and that you have to occasionally hide from. And when you hide from it, you feel isolated. And then when you're dealing with mental health issues, anytime you start to feel isolated, there's a chance that that snowballs. Because we know how snowballs work. Those things build themselves. And you have to be very careful to not be in the way. Because, you know, that's... And essentially, I think that's what they were trying to get across. Is that it's the need to express yourself, the desire to express yourself, actually needs to, for selfish reasons, you have to, you have to isolate yourself from the constant pressure of expressing yourself.
Yes, there is a need to explain and express where you're coming from, and it's different from everyone else, and so you got to do it a lot when you get to know people, and that can be a bit of a pressure. And for myself, I wait a while. I don't. I wait and see if the person is able to understand, able to. Usually, it leaks out though. I can't help it.
Well, yeah, but I think they're also talking about someone who's a writer, or someone who does, someone who's an advocate, or who's, for whatever reason, they've gone from.
Oh.
They've gone from, just kind of dealing with this privately to having to deal with it more publicly.
Oh. Yes.
But that's its own journey. The personal journey is its own problems. That's its own minefield as you try to walk through the personal relationships with mental health.
And we kind of cover that in the next article.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and we'll go do that one. We've got 8 minutes for the rest of this half, so we'll cover that. So I didn't actually get a chance to read. I read it quickly, but I didn't get a chance to go back and reread it. I always like to read these things twice, and I didn't get a chance to do it the second time. So that's why the loneliness of always feeling too much.
This is a person we feel a lot.
Yes, because I actually can relate to this.
And this person is trying to have interpersonal relationships and tries to express themselves in this area and feels as if it's not well received. For one thing, she or he, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, has a hard time expressing themselves, gets overwhelmed easy, and doesn't feel that they express themselves well. And they also feel as if the other person doesn't, they feel rejected a lot. The other person just wants them to be happy. And they feel that they lose a lot of friends because of this part of their life.
Well, I can actually understand the whole empath feeling, because I am very empathetic. I've always been a very empathetic person. I cry at the drop of a hat while watching things like Northern Exposure. We watched one of the things we did on our holiday was we watched we got through almost 5 seasons,
4.5 seasons.
4.5 seasons of Northern Exposure. And, it's kind of a thought-provoking show. Talks a lot about philosophy and relationships. And it's a very thought-provoking show. But I cry at the drop of a hat. I can't get through an episode, a good episode of that without getting tears. But I get tears on all kinds of things. But that's because I can feel. I can feel for the characters. I can feel for the journey they're going through. I can relate to it, whether I can relate to it or not. I can relate to the human aspect of it.
Yes.
Even if I completely kind of disagree where they're coming from, I can still relate to their journey, to their human aspect of the journey. And even though something that I completely know is completely fiction, deliberately written to pull those kind of strings, it'll pull those strings.
My honey.
I was gonna say it's awful, but it's not. There's nothing.
No, it's not.
It's annoying at times.
It's annoying to you. I love it.
I mean, it's annoying at times, but that's the thing. It's annoying at times. You can become overwhelmed. And there's a lot of people who can't handle that. There's a lot of people who aren't really your friends not because they're not good people, but because they're not even necessarily giving an honorable effort, but because their personality type can't handle the realism that you live in every day.
Oh.
They have to be able to kind of ignore that part of life. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a judgment. It's just, how an empath couldn't handle, they don't handle, say, like cubicles very well. The kind of soulless office. They don't handle those very well. They need more life in their lives, so to speak. I mean, it's the same thing, but there's some people who thrive in that kind of environment. And there's no difference. And there's no judgments one way or the other. It's just the way we are. But some people can't deal with that on a regular basis. They can't be with somebody who tears up at an episode of Northern Exposure every day. They can't handle it. They think they want to fix it. Especially men having trouble with this because they want to fix things. And there's nothing to fix. You're just having a feeling. And it'll go away. It's fine. There's nothing to fix. Sometimes it's a happy feeling. Sometimes it's a sad feeling. But there's nothing to fix. And so if you're with a fixer, if you're hanging out with some people who like to fix things, who like to solve problems, and they see you over there tearing up, well, should we change the channel? Should we watch something else? Should we go do something else? No, I'm enjoying this. It's just fine. But it's fine. There's nothing wrong. I just get emotional over these kind of things. But it can be draining for some people. Just like an introvert having to go off and run for office and all that stuff is draining.
It's draining.
There's no difference. It is what it is. Anything to add? That was kind of rambly, but anything to add to that?
Nothing I can think of.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and take a break for Anchor FM. Let the sponsor kind of do their thing, and we will be right back in about 5 minutes or so.